Okay. Welcome everybody. This is Cricket Wana returning after a mini hiatus, and we are back to preview T20 World Cup, the big time in Australia. It's the seventh edition of the World Cup, T20 World Cup. Australia is the defending champions, and the first leg of the qualifiers has already begun. It will end today. We'll know two more teams that will join the Super 12. We already have 10 teams. I have with me Somu and Vinay. Thank you, Sridhar, for setting this up. Before we get into more details, any quick observations so far in terms of the teams and the forms, or the format or whatever? I'll start with Vinay.
Yeah, so I think more generally speaking, I would say in recent years, this kind of qualifying stage of the World Cup for me personally is actually sometimes the most exciting than the actual tournament itself. I think we've kind of talked about the sentiment of if you're a fan of cricket, right? More so than any other team. Like, this is really exciting to see as these associate nations kind of, come out of the woodworks, and you can see these year-over-year improvements and stuff. And especially when these countries that you may not have really seen or heard of or whatever, giving a run for the money for these other nations that we've, have been kind of a staple, on this national scene for quite some time. Honestly, it's like kind of heartbreaking, because it's like you see actually pretty decent cricket being played between these teams. You wish all of them could make the World Cup, right? It's kind of heartbreaking to see some nations actually it's do or die, they have to go home, right? So I think we've seen, and I'm sure some of it has to do with they're playing against their own skill level almost, so it's really competitive when you watch, and maybe when they play like a juggernaut or a powerhouse, it wouldn't be as entertaining. But I mean, and we can maybe go through a couple quick cameos of some great performances we saw. But I mean, one that comes to mind is like that forgive me, I don't remember his name, but that UAE bowler that got the first hat trick.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like just seeing that kind of cricket. I think if you're a fan of cricket, this is the best part of the tournament for me, because I feel like the rest of the tournament can sometimes be so predictable or a foregone conclusion. So I think I'll start by saying that watching these qualifiers was actually enjoyable, and I hope the rest of the World Cup lives up to it.
Yeah, I think I mean, I understand all the teams have to exit at some time, and there's only one winner or only two finalists in the end. But I tend to agree with Vinay's point. Instead of having these multiple exit rounds, maybe for T20, which is such a short format, we go the FIFA style. Get 16 teams, if not 32, or maybe 24 teams, and say four groups of four or six groups of four or something, to have more games.
This is what I'm thinking. All these preliminaries, or what you call qualifying group, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
I mean, all the if you have West Indies, the powerhouse of cricket, several years ago, with them trying to qualify, and also the Ireland, Zimbabwe, and Scotland, they're equally good. All of them are good. Anybody could beat anybody on any given day, because Sri Lanka got this scare in the first game. They lost badly, actually, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this again, this is not in your hand or my hand. Maybe they should have all these guys playing the T20. Why there's a few extra days?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, especially the shorter the format it is, equal the playing field becomes more equal. The more shorter the format is.
Yeah,
that's why I don't. To me personally, I don't like to call any game upset in T20. Like tomorrow, if Scotland qualifies today and they go on to beat Australia, I don't think it's an upset in T20.
It is not. It is not. Never. Question. Let me tell you. This is I think on a Test cricket or even 50-over game, generally, again, a better team wins. Okay, generally.
Yeah.
But in T20, anybody can win any day on any given day.
Just 2 overs, right? Just two
Yeah.
overs of great bowling. You get 4 or 5 wickets, or it can be 4 or 5 sixes, and it's
Sixes.
over.
So
Yeah.
2 hours can change the game in a heartbeat. Okay. So all we have to think is nothing is an upset. And if they say, "Oh, India is probably will go to the finals," I would never put India or Australia, anybody. I mean, they say Australia probably they will they'll make it because they play in their home pitches and that. At some point in time, it doesn't really matter anymore.
No, actually, Australia has lost the T20 series in Australia to India multiple times.
Now,
when India was not at its best.
Right? And also, mind you, 1992, Pakistan won in Australia.
But one thing is, in Australia, being larger grounds, those what do you call, like the 15-minute fame kind of players may not have such a good day.
Correct.
I think that the top of the cream will still come here. I mean, if this was happening again in UAE or India, yes, I wouldn't have ruled out Ireland winning the World Cup.
Correct.
But in this form, in Australia, I still think the usual.
True to the form, pretty much true to the form. See, UAE, there are a couple of things I'll tell you. Wickets are a little slower, okay? And the dew comes into the effect of the game every time. Illy, there is no dew, no wicket, no nothing. Slow away.
So, especially, the toss will not dictate the result.
Toss will not dictate the games at all, because once you win the toss, you pretty much, in UAE, you'll win the game, because dew factor one though, and also slow bounce, slow wickets, and Illy true wickets is pretty much all the Australian wickets are bouncy and pacey. So I think there's a challenge between the bat and ball is much better.
Yes.
And as I said, this could be anybody. Zimbabwe could win on any given day. Sri Lanka could give. See, the team I'll tell you, anybody could beat anybody on any given day. Exactly. It is never an upset anymore.
So, see, in the other group, Sri Lanka barely made it to the top of the group because of the run rate. Netherlands could have easily been unbeaten and been the group topper.
Correct.
Just lost out, and unfortunately, I was feeling so bad for Netherlands when they lost to Sri Lanka, because I think Namibia beating UAE was pretty much decided. And Netherlands will go out, but then for somehow Namibia decided to lose UAE. So Netherlands is in there, and they are going to join the group with India and Pakistan and South Africa. But in this group, today's group, it's not even virtual. It's a real knockout. Like the two games, winners move to the next round, losers go home. That's it. They all have the same points. There's no run rate. Well, run rate will come into picture to decide 1 and 2. And
correct. That's all.
And this group's topper will go to Group B, which has India and Pakistan.
Okay,
And so, I was expecting West Indies there, but I don't think West Indies will top the group now with such a bad run rate, unless they do what West Indies has been doing.
If you look at it, Scotland is probably leading everything in that title.
But see, Scotland and Zimbabwe both are in positive, and they are playing each other. So the winner will go to the top.
Will go to right.
But again, West Indies is not that far behind. So you never know. Like the whatever Scotland wins, the margin, let's say West Indies has to win at least 20 runs more than Scotland.
So
20, it's not impossible, but I don't think they will be looking at. They just want to win and qualify.
And also, Andre Russell, and they don't make any difference in Australian wickets anymore.
Oh, look at it. There's no Russell.
I'm sorry.
Russell Illa, Narayan Illa, and I have to mention this. Shimron Hetmeyer.
He's not there either.
You know the reason, right? That's the first of its kind. That because he missed his flight. First thing, he asked permission, I think for some family emergency or whatever, and he said he's gonna come. He's gonna take the flight 2 days later. So the team left on Saturday. He was supposed to leave on Monday. And then he missed Monday's flight. I mean, he got delayed for whatever reason. So they are not going, they decided not to reschedule his flight or plan anymore. They just dropped him. I said, okay, you're out of the World Cup. So
Oh, wow.
so I forgot who is in place of him, but anyway. So yeah,
No,
that's one mention.
No, I mean, I was only meaning under reserve. I meant was, he's a high quality player, but he's not there. But what I mean is, UAE it doesn't really have any effect of one person.
He is not he wouldn't have won you games in Australia.
Correct.
Yeah.
The current pollards of the industry, under results of the industry cannot win games by themselves, unlike UAE or any other thing. It's a long, bigger picture, wider, bigger pitches, obviously.
Yeah.
And just true bounce, true everything.
And because of the true nature of the pitches and also the larger grounds. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my theory is teams with slightly weaker bowling can manage. They can hide their shortcomings in bowling, but I think the teams with a shortcoming in batting will suffer more. In these grounds. So that's why I'm kind of hopeful for India against Pakistan. I think Indian batting is much stronger. Because they are heavily reliant on Babar and Rizwan, and there's not much to follow.
Yeah. Let me talk about Pakistan batting. I think I have seen it
in the first marquee game. The
real. Maybe you have seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. But Babar and Rizwan take their own sweet ass time to get their runs. Okay. Once they get out, the middle order is failing in the middle overs miserably for a reasonable number of games, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in the lot. So now what I'm watching is if Rizwan and Babar fire, they have a good shot. If they don't fire and they get out early or they don't score as many runs in the first 5, 6, 7 overs, they're struggling every time. Only thing is, Fakhar Zaman is back in the team. He was not there, he's back in the team alone.
Yeah.
That number 3 guy. I think he plays pretty good. So, yeah. I think he's back in the team. I think he's been... so that will make a little bit of a good thing for Pakistan to probably do a little bit better. Otherwise, if Babar or Rizwan fail, or if they don't get as many runs in the first...
It doesn't matter if they fail. Even if they succeed, and they're like, going at 120, 125 strike rate, that's not going to help.
That's what I mean. Because their first 6 overs, they're barely making
averages. But average does not matter.
I think they're losing because of Babar and Rizwan not firing up in the first 5, 6, 7, 8 overs.
That's what I think it's a 2-man team. Like those two either win you games or lose you games. The rest is immaterial.
Yeah, right. I mean, I just want to throw it out there, Ashton.
Okay. So while we are talking about Pakistan, then let's wrap up the big marquee game for 2 days from now, which is India versus Pakistan in Melbourne. Like I said, I have a feeling. I mean, because it's in Melbourne, such a large ground, and with the batting strength and the bowling strength relative to both the teams, I think India has an edge. But I mean, again, it's T20; anything can happen. But what do you think, Soma?
Look, you know what? Again, I have to preface this by saying what Babar and Rizwan do is probably one thing that will favor heavily or negatively or positively for Pakistan. That's one thing. Yeah. And the other thing which I'm a little bit concerned about is our death bowling. I hope Arshdeep they'll play him. I don't know that because and also with Shami getting that many wickets, and I mean he was never in the team. All of a sudden,
just 1 over. The whole year he bowled just 1 over in an inconsequential warm-up game. But wow, what an over that was!
What an over that was, right? So I think that is my biggest thing. Without Bumrah in the 18th and the 20th over, if you want to call that, it's a little tough for India. But one positive thing that's happening now is Rohit is not scoring. To be honest with you, I don't care. With KL with
KL
Kohli
is
and
batting
Surya, if they can fire and they get, for example, ಮೊನ್ನೆ 50 60 ಏನೋ ಹೊಡೆದ್ನಲ್ಲ, 170 ಏನೋ 170 was the strike rate for KL. I think that is very, for me, it's very heartening.
Oh, I think we should definitely give credit to this Rohit and Dravid combination, especially for T20 this year. They have consciously made an effort to up the strike rate, and it was pleasing to see even KL and Kohli joining the bandwagon and not looking, not making themselves a fool by trying whatever, like in their own mold, in their own style. They have actually made it clear that they belong in this new approach. And I'm really happy how Kohli and KL have done that. I think those two were the, if you can call it, the culprits of the slower strike rate before.
Yeah, you know what, again, I think the mindset was different in the sense somebody wanted to stay back and get the other guy hit. No. In T20 before, it's 7 overs and you're back behind the eight ball.
There's no role for anchor anymore.
Anchor anymore, you hit ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. So, because then otherwise you will be putting too much pressure on Hardik Pandya and Dinesh Karthik, and they're not going to fire each time.
Okay, quick question. Pant or Karthik? Or both?
Karthik.
Vinay?
Karthik, for sure.
Yeah, me too. Well, I still have a feeling Pant will have some role to play in the long tournament. I don't think he will be benched forever, because he will come in for somebody. It need not be Karthik. It could be somebody, someone fails for 3-4 games, or somebody gets injured, or small. But I think left-hander, I have high hopes on Pant, but I don't know.
You know what? Let me tell you, he has done anything consequential in any T20 all this time. Okay, I mean, he's a good player, and I get it, and I'm not going to deny it.
The only thing is it's in Australia, so
correct. That's one thing. Yeah, because ball comes to the bat,
likes that bounce, and because he has done well in both ODI and Test there.
Correct.
I have a feeling it's just natural. Some people have that mindset of doing well in some geographic locations.
Correct.
And,
but again, when if he is going to come in, are you dumb? DK has been phenomenally consistent.
No, I think DK will be the first choice. He will be in the first 11 again. Come Saturday on Pakistan, Sunday Pakistan game. I think it will be DK, the keeper. Unless there is any injury for anyone else in the top 6, I think Pant will be benched.
And also, as you and I spoke, when I can chime in on that. A weak bowling link can get away in Australia, but weak batting link cannot, as we talked about. Okay. Then, having said that, there can only be 5 bowlers. 6 bowlers, then there's an issue there again.
Yeah, but again, because of the bigger grounds and the kind of, the T20 game is not as fast in Australia, if I can say it. I mean, in a way, it's not going to be that slam bang, 180, 190, 200, right? I mean, sometimes 158, 165 can be a great winning score.
You know why?
That's why I think you need that additional option. If not 7, like have 6 bowlers to at least have that come, because if one of them have a bad day, or left-hander, right-hander, some angle, whatever. So
then you have to see it. Yeah, go ahead, Vinay.
Yeah.
No, I have a couple questions related to that, right? So let's say, okay, so first off, couple thoughts, and you guys can tell me what you think. First is, with bigger grounds, do you think that fielding matters more, and do you think that taking doubles in the middle overs matters more?
Absolutely.
And I think that's a huge thing, because without Jadeja on the team, you lose a bit of fielding. You lose a little, the all-rounder, the left-handed, and we cannot have batsmen taking such risks in the middle overs. They should just be hitting it on the ground and taking those singles and doubles more often in Australia than any other place. They should be playing more like an ODI than a T20, in my opinion. So what are your thoughts on that with no Jadeja? Perhaps saving the finishers till the finishing overs, because you don't want them coming in between 8 and 14 overs, let's say, right? So what do you think about that?
We have a right-handed Jadeja in Kohli. If you saw,
Oh,
if you saw his run out and catch, oh my God!
oh God, yeah.
Amazing feeling and all. But anyway, I mean, on a serious note, yeah, I think it's also because of the larger grounds and where there will be more fours and twos than sixes. I think Virat Kohli will actually thrive in. That's why he would relish this.
The other thing we all have to think, okay, in Australia, like UAE or Bang India, whatever you want to, there's going to be a lot of running between the wickets in Australia.
Yes.
Okay, you could run a lot of threes as well. Okay.
Well, there were a couple of instances where you run 4 in Australia.
Yeah, I get that. So having said that, the other thing is, which I'm talking with no Jadeja, Akshar, yes, I have probably I have a lot of faith in Akshar these days than anybody else so far. Having said that, Akshar should somehow fit in. I don't know if I was somebody in the beginning, probably I would give Chahal a little bit of a break, probably push Akshar and Huda for a couple of overs. That way Huda can also bat. Again, I'm not
possible. But you know what? I rate Akshar slightly better than Jadeja in bowling. But I think where we'll miss Jadeja is definitely in fielding. Fielding. In batting too, I think Jadeja has become much more consistent.
But
Akshar is a better white ball bowler than Jadeja now. I mean,
correct. And also mind you, Akshar in the last several games, he has produced some good batting.
Yeah. He's not hitting. I don't think you can call him an all-rounder, but he can bat around.
Yeah, he can bat. What I mean to say is at least he can throw his bat around a little bit, 10, 20 runs easy. It's not that hard. And again,
is Akshar and Hardik in your 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, both are in 11.
You have to have, just for the bowling balance, you need both.
Look,
with 4 bowlers.
If Jadeja was in, probably I would toss up between Hardik and whatever. But with Jadeja not being there, Hardik probably gets into the team without even, there's no question at all. So I think that's where, and also mind you, obviously everybody is fit. That includes Kohli, Rahul, everybody is fit. But they're going to be running a lot than any other, cricketing grounds in the world. That will make a little bit of a difference. I don't think, I'm sure they have thought about it, but that, if you bat, let's say if you bowl and you're running around and then you have to come back like Rahul or maybe Rohit, come back, they won't be able to get those quick singles or twos or whatever because the ground is large. Even within the 6-over fielder, if they go, if they really don't hit that hard, they have to run because
that's why I'm hoping Rohit will go full Monty in power play because I don't think I can we can rely on the run in the middle lots of 2s and 3s. So
no, he won't be able to do that.
Yeah, but so he should be.
He should toss his bat around, and if he gets out in the power play, he gets out. I don't think he should stay past 6 overs.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
I would rather he get
Kohli and Surya are ideal. Kohli, Surya are ideal for middle overs. But yeah,
at the end of the day, what KL does matters a lot here because he's the one who can really get runs and fours and sixes pretty easily. He has got the repertoire to do that. And he cannot wait for Surya to come and do the finishing every time and DK to come and, they have to really.
See, my theory is this. With Rohit, Kohli, Surya, and DK for some extent, we can expect, and you will get that same stuff from most, those players pretty much every game. That's not going to make or break a game. Those are the foundation that you need. But I think winning or losing the tournament will heavily depend on KL and Hardik. The way they go about it. If KL can go like, the last game, go for at least stay for 10 overs and actually keep that 150 plus strike rate or whatever, and then Hardik can actually have that magical finish. And hopefully you will not leak so many runs while bowling, which is happening quite often these days.
That's happening.
I think between those two will make or break the tour.
What do you think in terms of maybe you can say specifically for against Pakistan on Sunday or in general? I know that toss doesn't matter too much, but if you win the toss, do you want to chase or do you want to put up a total first if you're India?
I think India will like to chase all the time.
I think so, because their batting is their
Yeah,
without
batting is
Bumrah and
the
stuff, their
strength.
batting is what's stronger, and I think they have to back themselves to chase any
Exactly.
target, right? And so
Yeah.
they have to chase.
Yeah, and also I think it also gives the bowlers a little bit of freedom in terms of or the other way. I think they will be under less pressure when they are not defending. You know, like even
Right,
if
because
they,
there is no
even if they
target to defend. That's a
go,
good, yeah.
yeah, even if they
Yeah.
go, I mean, you know, if you are bowling first and you give 180 instead of 170, maybe the batters can manage it in the second innings. But
Yeah.
you know, it can't be the other way.
Yeah, let me ask you this question, Nimo. What is your opinion? Are you going to play?
Yeah, give me your
Chahal?
11. Give me your 11 against Pakistan.
Yeah, no. Look, give me your, okay. Are you going to play Chahal? I do not. I don't want to.
I think I will start with Chahal.
But then there's one batting gone pretty much down.
Yes, only because see, Akshar, Akshar will be a definite starter, right? Because of the
Left arm.
the all-round tag, whatever that is, and between Hardik and Akshar will be number 6 and 7 or DK. So and Harshal will be there for some batting because he can. It will come down to Chahal versus Ashwin and Shami versus Bhuvi. Because I think Ashdeep is a shoe in now. Like, he's the only one who's been consistent for last few days, few games, and being a left-hander, you need that. Especially without Bumrah, I think Ashdeep is now, like it or not, he's your depth specialist.
He's your 18 and 20.
Right. So it's either Bhuvi or Shami.
Shami after that 1 over, Shami is choosing. I don't care what anybody said. He will go.
Only if he's fully fit. I don't think they will rush him in.
So what's your 11 then?
I mean the rest of the 9 automatically picks up, KL, Rohit, Kohli, Surya, Hardik, DK or DK Hardik, whatever, depending on the thing, and then Akshar.
Yeah,
Harshal,
14,
Akshar, Harshal. The first game I will go with Chahal. I think I'll go with Chahal, especially because Pakistan will probably go with a leg spinner than an off spinner. Maybe against South Africa, I'll bring back Ashwin because of too many left-handers in there.
Yeah.
And Chahal has been historically leaked, has leaked quite a bit against South Africa. I don't know why. But, I mean,
okay.
So we are playing in Perth. South Africa is against Perth. I mean, against South Africa, it's in Perth. We'll see. But I think, again, I think Ashwin and Pant will come into the picture sometime. I don't think the same 11 can play all 7 games if you reach the final. There are 5 games in the league and then semi-final and the final. So
total 7 to go to the final. So 7th game will be the final.
To win the cup, it's 7. 5 in the league.
Yeah.
Oh
man. So I mean, okay, India who are the dark horse, if you want to call that, because nobody has spoken about that.
Team or the player?
Team.
South Africa.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I think South Africa is definitely going all the way. If not win it, to me, this India-Pakistan game is a virtual quarterfinal. I believe South Africa will qualify. So there's only one place between India and Pakistan. So
where do you see them winning these games? Who will win the games for them?
Their team is really good. I mean, see, Bavuma is the only.
Yeah, but he's not getting any runs. He's not getting any runs.
But if he gets it, then because everyone else is really doing good. I mean, Miller is in the form of his life.
Miller is there, of course.
Unfortunately, RVD has missed out. Rassie van der Dussen had an amazing 2 years now.
Oh, yeah, he's injured.
You can always bank on QDK, Quinton. And Riley Russo is picking up amazingly well. And then the bowling has been always good.
Markram is going to be doing.
Markram will do well. I think Markram will definitely do well.
Rabada, Ningidi, Andrik, Nokia,
Marco Janssen.
Oh, Marco.
And then they have 2
Shamsi and Devnala. Maharaj.
Maharaj and Shamsi, they are in the top 5 spinners, best spinners in the world now.
Correct, yeah. Shamsi
So
is getting
I
good.
think, and they're always great in fielding. I think they're turning a page here. So
You think they're going to come into the knockout?
oh yeah, they will. I think South Africa, Namgrupal, I would say South Africa is a definite. India or Pakistan. It's one of the two, I think.
So Sunday you will know whether it's India or Pakistan.
Sunday, India-Pakistan game could be a quarterfinal now. First time. The loser will have to beat South Africa. Or it could come down to India, South Africa, and Pakistan being a 3-way tie, and then run rate can be a factor. But I don't see any other team making it, even if it's West Indies or
No.
and obviously there's Netherlands and Afghanistan which will not make it. I'm not even hopeful of Sri Lanka this time in Australia. Yes, they won the Asia Cup, but I think I'll be surprised if Pakistan does well too. I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's not a wishful thinking, but I think for these kind of grounds,
No, yeah, you see, Fakhar Zaman was a phenomenal batsman in my opinion. He's back. Hopefully, he's back 100% fit. If he comes in and bats number 3, there's a good chance they could do well in spite of Babar or
they will,
Rizwan not firing.
I feel they will do even better if they can break the opening partnership and get Fakhar to open. So it's left and right. And then one of Babar and Rizwan comes at 3.
Then Babar has to come at 3. I got it.
Yeah. But I don't think they will break that now.
Because they're batting
so much,
you guys haven't mentioned yet about Shaheen and his bowling with him being back. You haven't mentioned that at all.
I'm not sure if he's fully back. I mean, he did play the warm-up game, but I'm not sure. But it's India, so they might probably play him and rest him.
Yeah, and also with KL facing the first ball, they might.
Yeah.
Nightmare scenes.
But that could be the thing too. If that power play with Shaheen in, if KL and Rohit can take it safely, then I think we are in for a big win. Let's see.
With Shaheen coming into the picture, obviously they've gotten out a few times. That will play a lot in the mind games versus
mentally.
He has to bowl reasonably well, not great. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Getting bowled at for a duck or whatever is like
that left-handers angle. We saw Reece Topley doing it. We saw we saw Parnell doing well against India.
Parnell doing well. That's why I'm hopeful Arshdeep will do well.
Yeah. Well, he's not bowling to Indian team, so
I know. But generally I'm talking about.
I know. But I think Arshdeep may do well. It depends on his. I think it all comes down to his mindset, because he's young. Can he easily break, or how strong is he mentally? I don't know. Because he has the skills. I think especially in Australia, you need that stone.
That's purely my kind of hope. He comes out very well, because you remember he dropped a sitter and then he did well after that.
Yeah,
he didn't fold. So that catch could have made him worse. He could have ruined his career.
I know. And last over they only needed 7 runs, but he took it to the last ball. So we lost it, but at least. And again, the next game again against Sri Lanka, Bhumi was the one who was the culprit for in both the games. He gave away a lot in the 19th over, so there wasn't much for Arshdeep to defend in the 20th. But he still did good. So I'm hopeful on Arshdeep, but
I was worried about that.
If Harshal Patel gets back his normal form, I think we'll be a killer team. I think he can be the maker. Just like KL in batting, I think Harshal will be the X factor in bowling. I think Indian fortune will follow what Harshal Patel's fortune is.
Yeah. Without Jadeja,
is slower ball effective in Australia?
Could be. Yeah.
Without Jadeja being throwing in 4 overs, then basically he has to bowl the other 4, which I doubt. Aksharala, Hardik. If he has to bowl 4,
I don't see Hardik as a 4-over bowler all the time. Because I mean, it depends on the surface, his mood.
Correct, but then you're talking 6 bowlers again.
Exactly. We definitely need 6 bowlers all the time.
Okay.
I mean, especially with Hardik cannot be in your team as one of the five ones.
Yeah, he's a 2 over, but if he's given a shot, he can bowl 4. That's like yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah. Okay. Then
cannot go. You can never go with Hardik plus 4 bowlers. Never.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So then then if one of the Kohli fails or Rohit fails or KL fails in the top, we are in trouble.
Yeah, that's always the case. But let's see what the new Hardik can do. He came in at number 3 and 4 in IPL, and he has done wonder. I mean, he barely scored a 50 for Mumbai Indians, but now he scored. I think he scored 450s in
450,
right? So
yeah,
he's much more mature, and I think the Gujarat captaincy has transformed him. I think he is having one of his best pace.
So now, what do we do on the other side? Australia.
Other side, I don't see anyone beyond Australia and England. I'll be surprised if New Zealand makes. New Zealand is in a real big trouble, and I'm not empathetic to New Zealand anymore after losing to them in. They've been a thorn in Indian shoes. Especially with I think Kohli's India, took a lot of pain from New Zealand. So I'm not a fan of New Zealand anymore. So it's not my second favorite team anymore.
Yeah.
I think what do you think? Anyone outside Australia or England?
Honestly, I cannot think of anybody outside Australia. I mean, because there's absolute. Look, Sam Curran comes and bowls in 19th, 20th, 18th over, gets a couple of wickets.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing really well. Unfortunately, Topley is not there. He's gone, and it's a shame that he's not there. But the Jordan is a good death bowler anyway.
I think England will be interesting, especially with Mark Wood maybe in the mix, and he's bowling a couple of middle overs. That guy is like, I mean, I want to see what kind of impact, especially on Australian wickets. And this guy bowls 155. You give him 2 overs in the middle, and he can really turn the match around, right? He's not going to be your opening or your death bowler, but he's going to bowl in the middle, and he gives a little bit of variety to just the spin in the middle. If you have to face this guy going 155, it's I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, he's in similar veins to Nokia, and how Nokia was handled in Delhi's campaign to the final, and also even Lockie Ferguson for New Zealand last time, right?
And you know what Mark Wood said himself, I read something that he is not trying to save runs. He's trying to save wickets, period.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that means then he is going after everybody.
Yeah.
And Tymel Mills is back in the mix. I mean, he's not. He's not going to turn a match around, but he's a solid. He'll save some runs, and he'll. I think they have a great bowling lineup. England team.
I hope Tymel Mills of the RCB version turns up for England.
Yeah.
But hey, Livingston is
Livingston can be the X factor there. I mean, but England is not really good. I think with Butler, I mean, it's how do I say it? It's a shocker to say this, but I think Ben Stokes is the weak link in there. he's not a great T20 player. I mean, he's like Rishabh Pant. He will be an amazing test player in the future as well. He will be a legendary test player. Or
he's like a Steve Smith of Australia, not that great at T20.
T20, yeah. But
can you believe that he's the topmost all-rounder, cannot fit in the T20.
I know. Yeah, you would think it would be bread and butter for him in T20, but somehow I don't know why. Just like Sehwag and Rishabh Pant, there are some hitters who do so well in Test that you think that these guys will be killers in T20.
Yeah,
even Sehwag had a mediocre T20 career.
Yeah, very mediocre. Yeah. Test. If he had played like a Test cricket, he would have gotten so much more runs.
Yeah.
And especially in the first 6 overs, he could be, anyway. So coming back, obviously, Australia are good. Warner, obviously, doing good. But you know what? Smith cannot find a spot in the team. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and now Inglis is gone, so finally Cam Green is also in.
They got the all-rounder back. I was surprised he wasn't in the squad before. I was looking for him,
he was never considered. It's just that they just took him because of all the injuries to the other players.
Correct.
And he suddenly grabbed it in both hands, and now it was hard to ignore him. And I think they were just waiting for somebody to break down, so they can get it.
I think Tim David is going to be exciting too.
But you know what? What a great finisher Matthew Wade is.
Yeah, but I don't think Australia will win this again. But it's you never know. Again, it's T20. Anything can happen. I mean, again, we are saying that it's not the best Indian team. The bowling is not that great. But again, won't be surprised if India goes on to win the World Cup as well. Because again, this is T20 World Cup, like we already started with. It can be on that day. So to me, it all just comes down to semi-final and the final. I think, like for me, India, South Africa, Australia, England are my 4 semi-finalists, but anything can happen there.
Yeah, right? True. But when you see, I don't know what the odds are in Vegas. I don't think there's any firm favorites. I mean, they say Australia, they say New Zealand, they say India, they say. I mean, I don't think there's any firm favorites going into today. If you want to go Sunday when it all starts, I don't think anybody's going to put any money on anybody blindly. Favorites India, Australia, Russia. I don't think anybody can definitely say these guys have a better shot than somebody else.
Exactly. Just for the fan following and all the all the sound and the noise and everything. I mean, you can never ignore India, Australia, and England in any event.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they always win.
Look, think about it. If Bumrah was 100%, I think they would have been one of the favorites.
Yes. Yeah.
I
know. I mean, especially with this new batting technique, I still, that's why I think they will definitely qualify. Out of 5 games, winning 4 is not out of their sight. But again, then it's all in that one guy. I mean, can it be a 50-ball 100 from KL or somebody or Harry Brook comes in and kills Harshal Patel and Arshdeep and
correct,
beats India.
Correct.
You never know. So I mean,
that kid is
again comes back to two good overs or 2 bad overs, and that's it.
And that Harry Brook is pretty good. Too much on it. He's clear. Too much actually on. Very good. I mean, there's some high quality batsmen. I mean, you can see everybody is pretty good. Young cricketers are very, very good.
Let me ask you this now. Which is one player you are really disappointed not to see him in the World Cup, in this World Cup? I mean, if you want some names, we have Bumrah, Jadeja, Bairstow, Hetmeyer. Who's the other guy? That was a big name. Luckily, Afridi is back.
Based on the current form. Okay, forget about Bumrah for a quick second. Okay, obviously he's good.
Bairstow.
I would say Bairstow is one which we're going to miss.
Yeah, I think even
I mean,
especially the form he was in right before.
Conway could have been a great. He's been amazing, especially after he joined CSK last year. He's been a fantastic T20 player. Nobody thought he would be a good T20 player.
Especially if the 200 he got in the first test he won. I mean, it was a slow knock.
Yeah.
But I never thought he would be a T20 player at all.
Yeah, I mean, he did very well for CSK and for New Zealand in the World Cup last year.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to miss Bairstow definitely because of the current form that he has, and he's pretty clean hitter up on. I mean, my goodness, he can really hit the ball well. So that one I'm going to miss.
Here's a small trivia. If I can say that Shami has a great opportunity to repeat what Hazelwood did last year, what would that be? Hazelwood was the only player who did that last year. And now Shami won't be the only player, but yeah, I mean, he has that opportunity.
Get 2 wickets in the first 6 overs. Is that what it is? I think he got. That's what I thought.
Winning the IPL and the World Cup in the same year.
Oh my goodness! Oh yeah, you know what? You're right.
Hazelwood, yes, CSK and Australia last year.
Australia, correct.
Dream.
Oh, you think Shami can do it?
It could be Hardik Pandya and Shami.
Yeah, if India wins, Hardik Pandya and Shami.
Yeah, or it could be Miller. Who knows?
Oh my goodness! Yes.
Yes. I don't think it will be Rashid Khan or.
No.
I hope it's not Wade again, but so yeah.
Wow, you're right.
Miller. India South Africa final. Anyone?
Oh,
that would be a shocker. I think Australia. It would. I mean, England is the team to beat, but
look. One thing I still think, somewhere along the way, South Africa is going to screw up a winning game.
Yeah, you never know.
Their confidence is so down right now. Like they've just been there. All three teams, in their country, they're not. I don't know if they're in good spirits. It seems as though that you cannot just change that overnight. So I mean, yeah, in this format, anything can happen. But I don't think I'm as bullish as you are on there. But I think seeing a strong South African team is good for cricket. So I'm rooting for them. I mean, they used to be everyone's second favorite team before New Zealand.
Exactly.
They're lovable, and they're 1999 World Cup, and this. It's like you want them to have some success, but I don't know if this is the team to do it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I wish if South Africa did it, I hope it was with
ABD, no?
Yeah. ABD, Stain.
No ABD, no Faf.
No Faf, no Stain.
Think about it. If they want to break the jinx, and if they do it, no ABD, no Faf, and they win the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that will bury all the previous ghosts.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It will be a clean slate, reset, moving forward.
I somehow, for that, I want it, because they're great. They're called chokers. But, I mean, as Steve Waugh said, Herschel Gibbs dropped the World Cup. I mean, he literally dropped the World Cup. It's a shame. But, I think I want them to get out of that.
Actually, you know what? For last few years, maybe even last decade, like 2013 to 22 now, India has been the bigger choker than South Africa, because at least from the point that South Africa didn't even come this close like they used to do in the 90s and 2000s, and they they lost the semi-final, they dropped the catch here, they missed a run out or whatever. India has pretty much qualified for the knockouts every time. And remember, even 2019 ODI World Cup, India was the group topper. There's no group. There's only one group. They were the number one ranked team. They were top of the table, and they lost to New Zealand. They were again top of the table in the Test Championship.
Lost to New Zealand.
Right? India has been the bigger choker, actually. I don't know what I don't know how it's eluding. Somehow they have escaped.
I tell you. I think the problem with I'll tell you what. I don't think any of the foreign correspondents have the balls to call India a choker.
Maybe.
I can guarantee you that. That's why they have not done it.
That should be it.
When you look at the sheer numbers and sheer the thing, India have choked probably more than South Africa has.
Yeah.
Asia Cup, they've lost the finals. There's so many.
Number of knockouts that they have. It's, if you look at it other way, if you take all the teams together, then you will also feel proud that India has actually reached the knockouts and the playoffs pretty much every time. But then they have not won a trophy. Since 2013 Champions Trophy, there's nothing.
Yeah, I think the whoever is going to write them as choker, he's going to be buried pretty much. Nobody wants to give that. BCCI is so powerful. I'll tell you. I tell you, I cannot emphasize how big Roger Binney is going to be the president of BCCI, they're so powerful in terms of money, the clout, the IPL, name it. So nobody dares to say anything negative about as Indian team. They can comment about an Indian player, not an Indian team. They're all scared.
Okay, now that you brought that topic up, Somu, any few words on the new BCCI president, Rajabini?
I tell you, okay, this is what I know. I know Binny personally. I knew him a lot better than now, because obviously lapse of time has kind of forgotten a little bit. I met him in the Maharaja Cup finals when I went. I said, hi, hey, Som. That's all he said, because there's so many people around him. I don't get a shot to going close. Again, I thought that probably if he had gone a couple of other times and he was there, I would have probably said one more word, but I did not, because that was the finals. Obviously, he's the president, But at that time, everybody was predicting his tenure is going to be done this year in Karnataka, and he's 67. Okay, and mind you, the BCCI has a rule: nobody gets to be in any position of authority, president, secretary, vice, whatever, after 70. Everybody has to go.
Oh, okay.
That's the rule. So, even in a way, that's one of the reasons he got it, probably. But other than that, he is a non-controversial guy, and he does not, he's lovable. He doesn't mess with anybody. He's very, very politically savvy. He's not political, quote unquote, but he's not one of those people looking to get an angle to do something. He's not that. He's one of a kind. He's very, very, very quiet. He's very soft-spoken and he speaks very little, okay? But when he speaks, people listen. I think that's Binny, what I know. He did a great job in the KSCA, because I'll tell you, KSCA is a little bit of a tough place to get around. It's not easy. I'm not going to go into the details, as a little I know.
When you say run on the field or on the
Oh, no, nothing on the field at all. Nothing on the field. So, that's a little, again, it's I tell you, there's a few people who wield the power there, good or bad, that's what it is. And Roger is a very non-controversial, very nice guy. He's a very likable guy and a firm guy. He's not, and I don't think he even, when his son was playing for India, I don't think he had a word, he did not push him at all.
Yeah.
I think they probably pushed him because it's Roger's son, rather than him telling him. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a proof.
But I would agree. Yeah.
I think BCCI will really thrive under Roger, in my opinion. There's a 3-year tenure.
If he calls you today and says, "What do you want me to do? Do one thing that you want to see for under BCCI?" What would you suggest him, recommend?
Oh my God! There's no one thing, actually.
I know. So because everybody will say, improve the quality of the game, improve the domestic, whatever. But if there is one particular thing that's a pet peeve,
I think I think which you will do, in my opinion. This one thing I would want it personally. This is nothing to do with anything. Probably there's 100 things much more important than what I'm telling you.
Right.
He has to look beyond Bombay and other, Ranji Trophy teams or the regions. There's a lot of people in the woods. A lot of them. For example, people were telling how great cricketers are coming from Hubli and Shimoga to the Karnataka team.
But isn't it already so much better in that kind of the talent?
Correct. But still, there's a lot of people who are not emerging as they should be. There's a lot of potential there in the smaller, the Jalandhars of the industry. I'm not kidding, Lucknow's of the industry, but you can put any name to that. There's ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದಾರಂತೆ. ನಾ ಕೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, even Karnataka state selectors ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. There is so much talent out there. The sad part is they're not picked. Even by chance they're picked, if they get one game and for whatever reason they fail, they're done and it's over. There is so many. Now, Karnataka, Maharaja finals,
Yeah.
the talent is amazing. Absolutely brilliant talent. But how many of them are going to play for Karnataka? I doubt many will play.
By the way, I need to let everyone know. Somu and I visited the KSCA Stadium, Chinnaswamy Stadium, when we were in Bangalore in August. Met the pitch curating team led by Prashant Rao and Jacinta. Excellent hosts. We were welcomed very well, got a nice tour, and they will be happy if anyone wants to go and visit the ground and take a look at it and learn and spread the word. Bangalore is, I didn't know this, Bangalore Stadium is the busiest cricket stadium in the world.
Correct.
Because of the weather itself, Bangalore pretty much hosts a game every week of the year. Like, I'm not kidding. I mean, at least one game. I mean, there could be multiple games. There could be multiple days in a week, obviously. But every week there is a game, and that's a big thing in anywhere in the world. I mean, you will not see that kind of conducive weather, cricket weather. There was some heavy rains this time. They still managed it because of the system they have, which they laid out in 2017. And I was jealous. I was about to fly from India the day after, so I missed out on watching the Maharaja Trophy fight. Maharaja Trophy is the new KPL.
The KPL, yes.
So Somu went in and had a great time. It was a fantastic game as well.
Yes.
I hope to see Chetan in Karnataka and maybe get an IPL contract soon. He was amazing in the finals.
See, the thing was, I'll tell you, that day I was home. The game started at 7 o'clock. I was home at 5:30. Decided not to go to the game. Okay, because there's so much rain. I said, no, forget it, I'm not going. Prashant calls me. I said, Somo, barta ilva anta. I went. I mean, from my house, that we took the metro we took from Lal Bagh, and I went from
25 minutes.
College. I was there in less than 35 minutes, right? I was there, and it started. Even when I was in the ground, it started raining. 20 minutes later, the ground.
I told Prashant, the Bangalore ground dries up faster than your wet shirt when it rains.
Correct. 20 minutes.
It's
literally 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
They could have 100 inches of rain in 20 minutes. It sucks up everything. And you and I saw that, right? And I was telling Vinay, just go, he will show that. That's such a phenomenal thing. And I just want to tell another thing. Kashyapa, Nano Nino, test wicket yesterday. You remember that?
Yes.
We saw both of it.
Yes.
And we stood in on that. And that was one of the greatest.
They have how many? 13? 9?
The 12 tracks.
12, 13 tracks.
Yeah.
The two middle tracks are the ones used for tests. And he showed that, I suddenly remembered so many, test events, memories that happened in Bangalore. And he mentioned that just last year when Michael Clark was here, he asked them which is the pitch that he debuted on in 2004, where he hit a debut
154.
Yeah, and he kneeled down on the pitch.
Kissed.
And, showed respect and said, this piece of land made my career.
Yeah, it is true. And you remember, I told you, Kashyap, 40 years ago, I was playing in there. I didn't even know what a test wicket was at that time. They didn't have 13. They had probably by 5 or 6 at that time.
75, first test, 75?
74.
West Indies.
Yeah, West Indies. Yeah. So, Putavadi captain. So, I mean, that wicket, that was the wicket anyway. So, you and I saw that. And I have played there. And that's completely different than what I played versus what we saw that day. It's goosebumps on us, and they're extremely nice.
We should have another session. We can talk more about the water seepage system, some of the pictures and videos we have taken. We'll do another session. I mean, after coming back from India, we were planning to do it. For many reasons we couldn't meet. So this is the first time we are meeting for last 3 months at least. So yeah. Any out of the blue predictions, some about a player, about a team, something will happen, something will not happen. I'll start with Vinay. Maybe you want to see
I don't
it.
know.
Maybe you want to see it, or you think something could happen. Like
I think
a player could be a top scorer, or whatever.
I think one thing I want to see, I mean, just for cricket, is this West Indies team. I hope they don't just fold and just lose all their matches. I hope that they actually, they stand up and they fight, because I don't want the previous generation, right, like the Gale and the Pollard and the Russell and the whatever, all of them to go down as they are probably their greatest T20, and they put them on the map. But I hope that they don't just completely fall over after that era, where it feels as though they weren't able to produce the similar or same talent that can kind of compete. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Cup, and I don't want them to win the World Cup, but I don't want them to be bottom of the table and irrelevant. I hope whatever they have going on there, produces some decent talent that they can play some exciting matches, and that they at least be in the middle of the table for me. I think it would be it's a shame to see them just completely fail, because it's just being a cricket fan, you remember eras of players, right? But you don't want that to be the only era for this team. I hope that they're somewhat relevant, because having a good West Indies team is good for all of cricket, I think. So that's something I want to see.
But yeah, to your point, to counter your point, I think it's already going that way. Like, just like that one day team, after winning 2 World Cups and, being in the third final, they just dropped off and have not yet recovered fully, if I may add. And same thing, T20, again, they were the first team to win 2 World Cups in both the formats. Right. And now, again, for that to happen, actually today, they have to beat Ireland. They are currently 63 for 2 in the 9th over. Not a great score, but again,
not a great score at all.
Yeah, but Hobart, it's been low scoring, defendable pitch. So you never know. Maybe 130 might be enough. Who knows? But yeah, West.
Yeah. Look, what I want is, look, I know, the Rohits, the Kohlis of the greatest batsmen. We all talk about it. What I want to see is the Harry Brooks, of the Liam Livingstons, of the and from that's the younger side. Then I want DKs of the industry want to come back and they do it. The reason is I don't want this. Anybody who like Butler is going to get runs. We all know that. So what I want is somebody who is a very young, up and coming, want to make a huge mark on this. Okay, that's one thing I want to see, because there's so many good classic cricketers that you want them to do well. And I'm hoping that. And also, again, the older crowd, the DKs of the industry, I'm only using him as one example. I want them to do as well, because I don't want them to be, he got a good IPL, that's why he came, and he was never that good. Exactly. I don't want that.
I hope he wins one game. In T20s, as in such this kind of a T20 tournament, I don't think you should expect anyone to win you more, like all the games or multiple games.
It won't happen.
Unless you are, Babar or Surya in your form of life. But DK should at least one, like a 10-ball 30 kind of an innings that will
something that if he contributes to the winning of the game. I don't care 15 runs or 10 runs or 40, whatever that, it doesn't matter. Because what I want people will say, he did well in IPL, but he was foregone conclusion, he was not that good in club. I don't want that. And also I'm talking about the Harry, remember Harry and that Singapore kid from in Australia.
Tim David.
Anyone know why he's playing for Australia? Like, was he an Australian citizen? Like, how did he get in?
No, he was born in Singapore. He was an Australian kid, like Vinay, born to a parent in America, but he was typically, he can always go back to India and play. That's how it was. He's an Australian parent. I believe he was born in Singapore, but he went back.
He's born in Singapore. Okay. He also played for Singapore, by the way.
Yeah, he was born in Singapore.
No, he also played for Singapore team.
He played for
Correct,
Singapore
because
too.
it's
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So this is, playing for Australia is not his international debut, but it's
Yeah,
just an
I
Australian.
think that is what it is. I that's what I read
Yeah,
somehow,
maybe.
because he's Australian parents are being, that's who he was. Then he played cricket. Obviously, he migrated, whatever that is, Australia, but better playing abilities in Australia. And he had, obviously he was qualified to do that. And he went there, and obviously he's doing it. I want him to do well. Those are the kind of people I want them to do well. And the Arshdeep of the industry, I want them to, because see, those are the things you want to the emerging players, which they can carry it and they can get better players. Because once you see some success, once you taste some success, they're going to get better and better and better because of the success, not because they're any better or worse, because they automatically get better because of the accolades they get. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
On
I
that
mean,
note,
going off of that, I think it's very ironic, right? Where people may argue that the IPL is like winning an IPL title or playing in the IPL is more competitive than playing in the World Cup in some respects, right? But it's funny because IPL performances tend to just be in that realm and that chapter. People don't remember it before and after the IPL and for years to come. But certain signature moments in a World Cup, people remember forever, right? For some reason. And so I want those same people that have succeeded in these more kind of like, domestic tournaments to kind of show up and like, for instance, I really love the story of Sky, right? Like, pretty much getting an opportunity so late in his career and making a stamp for himself. If he doesn't do well in the World Cup, for instance, I think he'll just be forgotten, unfortunately, right, in Indian cricket. But if he's a big part of a win for Indian, team in a World Cup, I think he will go down and he will be remembered then, so you want these people with this kind of skill and this kind of heartwarming story to be remembered. And I think that's, that's what I would like too.
Yeah, I'm actually hopeful on Sky, only because I think Australian grounds, they tend to reward the ones with the stronger foundation and
Correct.
a better pedigree and background and training in the sense. I don't. It's not a place for the fluke players, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, yes, you can do it in Mumbai's and Dhaka's and Dubai grounds, but somehow I've seen like Australian events. Take for example, even the '92 World Cup or the '85 series that India won, which is rarely is spoken about. It's almost a World Cup. So you won't see those fluke players winning much. I mean, Inzamam rose to fame in that '92 World Cup, but then he became a giant. He became a
legend.
Yeah. So just like that, I think Sky has a better chance of succeeding in this than the Tim Davids and the Russells people. I mean, maybe Tim David is going to be a.
You know what? There's one thing I'll tell you. You're right. What happens if you are a talented, compact, technically qualified batsman? They are the only batsmen who thrive in England and Australia.
Yes.
Because that they can kind of get
tests you harder.
Those two will really test your technical skills.
Yeah.
It's not the fluent. I mean, one good innings maybe,
exactly,
maybe, but not consistency. No, people who have scored a lot of runs, they have scored a lot of runs in England and Australia. They are the better batsmen.
Exactly.
The Dravids of the industry, Sachins of the industry.
That's why I think Sky has everything in his.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
to actually do that. But I mean, that doesn't mean Sky will win you the World Cup. But I mean, I think he will. I don't think he will harm his reputation in this World Cup. He will have a couple of good games for sure, if not more.
Yeah.
What my wish is, first thing, I don't want any game to be washed out by rain, because it seems like, I mean, I just read something that Australia is heading towards some heavy rains.
Notorious summer rains, Ali.
Yeah, so I hope it's not points they divided, or like a 5-over Duckworth Lewis or something, and screws up the whole chart. And but one other thing I'm looking at is, I think Afghanistan will beat one of the big teams, one game. It could be Australia, England, or New Zealand, but I think we are in for one. If I know I don't want to call it as an upset in T20, but I think it can be an upset. I think we'll see an upset from Afghanistan.
Yeah, I'll add one more. This is unpopular, and it's not unpopular. Maybe it's.
And before
I
finish, before I complete,
yeah, go ahead.
India South Africa finals.
Okay, that's your call.
Yes.
I think one thing I thought I would never admit, but I'm now like my heartstrings are tugging a little bit. Is I was never really a big fan of Kohli, and seeing him succeed, I don't think I ever appreciated as much as I should have. During that patch, maybe 5 years ago or so. And it is a little disappointing to see him kind of feel a little out of his element as of late. And I know he's kind of picked it up a bit, but it's still not the same. I mean, the 50 runs that he might be scoring just doesn't feel the same security that it used to feel.
Yeah.
So I would love to just relive a moment from maybe like 5-7 years ago where he would single-handedly orchestrate a chase out of nowhere and make it the most thrilling match in the world, right? I would love if he got one match where he just he pulls a rabbit out of the hat and he takes India to, and it would be even more exciting if it's like a semifinal or a final match, but give him one match where he's the old Kohli, right? That we all remember and appreciated. I would love for that to happen because it's not as severe as, remember him saying like, oh, like Sachin won, he played for us, blah, blah, blah. And, we needed to win this World Cup for him type thing. It's not that severe. I mean, it's not that he's that old or he's fading away, but I think I want him to have something to his name, and he's not even captain anymore. So
he'll do that in Adelaide.
I want some success. Yeah.
He'll do that in Adelaide. Look, watch out. Adelaide is the ground made for Kohli. I mean, no Australian is better than Kohli in Adelaide so far. So India is playing Bangladesh in Adelaide, and then it could be one of the semifinals. So let's see.
Oh, there's one semifinal in Adelaide, is it?
Yeah, Adelaide and Sydney.
Sydney, Adelaide, is it? Okay. Sydney, Adelaide, then finals in Melbourne. Okay, I got it. Okay. Huh.
Wow.
Oh, well, you know what? Exciting.
Group 2 winner. So if India tops the group, then we'll play in Adelaide.
Okay. So it's a 3 weeks around, November 14th, 15th, something like that?
13th finals.
13th is the final.
Okay. Yeah, it's about
semi-finals, 13th final.
Wow. Before it's all done. It's over.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Hey, should we have a mid one somewhere in the next week or the following week?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have more. I think we should resume this, and thank you for joining. And we will end this session with good luck to all the 14 teams now.
Yeah.
Two teams will be eliminated today. So rest of the 12 teams.
Look, honestly, I want, obviously the good team will win, but what I want is all the games lives up to the potential of T20, and just a little up or down. 5 runs, 8 runs, 6 runs.
I don't want any advantageous toss here, win toss, win game kind of.
No, there's nothing anywhere.
I hope so.
Not 180 and 127, something like that. I want a 156 to 151 or 161 to 159 or whatever that is. It has to be nailed biter. I don't want the game to turn it off on the 17th over because they're not going to win.
Because, again, it goes back to, especially because it's in Australia, the good and the great will be differentiated quite badly. Again, if it was UAE and India, India and Sharjah, whatever, everybody has an equal chance. It becomes almost a lottery, and that's why it always goes to the last over. But here, you see, sometimes in the 15th over, the game is done. It's they need, they are like 6 down, 80 runs in last 5 overs, and we know the game is gone. So.
Yeah, but I hope again to very few. I want everybody to watch the 39th over of the game. That way, rather than the.
I hope it's not bowled by Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it exciting because Kutku Nodakshana, you lose interest. I don't even care if it's Scotland playing West Indies. It doesn't matter. Or Scotland playing Australia. It has to be the 39th over. That's what you want.
Yeah.
But anyway,
West Indies has lost their third wicket, 71 for 3 in the 11th over. Not looking so great, but let's see. We will see you all soon.